fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Hello, Salt Strong Nation. Joe Simons, like diamonds. We are back again. Got my brother Luke Simons here. We're talking about the new Salt Strong tackle store. Some of you guys might have seen some changes. Some of you guys might have been saying, hey, what the heck is going on? Why do you guys have so much amazing stuff? And then other people are like, well, where is everything? What's happening? And so we're going to address all of that and even show you the store and really talk through the big why and why this is going to be so unique, why our shop, I believe, could disrupt the way that tackle is both sold and the way that people are getting education on fishing tackle and exactly what they need. And let's just start off first with kind of the big problem, Luke. And you can hear me, right, Lukey?
I hear you loud and clear.
Making sure I see that big, beautiful beard there. Looking more and more like Jesus. That's a compliment.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's a compliment. So the kind of the big problem as we see it is two guys who grew up in Florida, who have grown up fishing and saving money for tackle since, we could ride bikes and go, pull weeds and mow yards, is the majority of tackle stores out there, and especially the bigger they get, the big box, the Bass Pros of the world, they seem to be filled with a lot of stuff. I'm not going to call it crap because I'll never say fishing tackle's crap, but it's stuff that you just don't need.
Some of it is, I'll say it. Some of it is. So I will definitely stand behind that statement. So, some of it is.
Some of it is crappy. And you guys know that, right? You can go into a store, especially the more experience that you have. And what's funny, the more experience that you have, the more you know about simplification, right? Isn't it funny that you get a brand new angler, what's the first thing they do? They go waste their money on the mystery tackle boxes and they just start accumulating all this stuff. And I know because we did it, and it's easy to go down that slippery slope, and all of a sudden you wake up one day and say, you know what? Like 90% of my fish are caught on like these 3 lures. Why do I have all this other stuff? And that, 90% of my best days have been on this rod and this reel and using this specific, line. So when you really think about it, you want less tackle and you want the best stuff that truly does work. And that's really been part of our mission from day one, is to go out there and put this stuff to the test. That's why we don't take sponsors. That's why you never have to hear us talking about something just because some sponsors giving us money or giving us free stuff. We don't play that game and we never will. So we like to go out there and take products that we believe could be good and put them to the test. Sometimes we've been shocked, both good and bad, right, Luke? Sometimes there's been stuff that we just in our mind thought was good because of a price and realized it really wasn't that great of a product. And vice versa, we've had stuff that we thought, it's only $80, $90 for a reel. It's probably not going to be that good. And we're like blown away with how reliable and durable it is. It's been
kind of like a lot of the fluorocarbon, the line tests. That is just one example of actually putting some science behind it without basically just disregarding the hype. I'm saving an absolute ton of money online because when the hyped up lines, namely some high-end fluorocarbons, when they're actually put to the test, like a scientific test where you test the abrasion strength, you test the knot strength, even look at it underwater, it all turns out to be just hype. It's all fluff, and it's just it's one of many problems in the industry that results in us anglers just overspending, just spending too much because we just go with we think that when everybody says something, it's true, and in reality, a lot of the loudest speakers are saying it because those companies are paying them to say it. So it's all about just transparency and actually putting stuff to the test. Like everything's based on actual true performance without any influence from the manufacturers themselves.
Yep. And to be really, really clear, we are not against buying tackle. We invest in it heavily. We have our own tackle store. We want you to buy tackle. I got 15 rods behind me. Luke's got a whole closet worth
have a spare bedroom. Yeah. So basically let us buy it on your behalf. Let us buy the majority of stuff. And then we'll just help you decide, okay, this stuff was garbage. And hey, here's like the one or two you need. That's really our role in this, is that we test out the products on your behalf so that you don't have to waste your time and your money dealing with some of the stuff that just really isn't worth it. So that's really it. That's the premise of the shop.
And we knew we were onto something, prior to even having the tackle store. We had our insider club, now over 14,000 members strong. And we have a lot of these members who had wasted a lot of money, like we all had on tackle. And they started buying what we recommended. And they're like, holy smokes, you guys are like literally changing everything for me. I mean, how cool would it be to go into a store where you had a real guide, a real coach, someone who really knows this stuff in and out and is using it every day to say, you know what, you don't really need that stuff that you came in here for. You don't need that stuff that is shiny new thing that you saw in the magazine or a commercial about. Here's what you really need based on what you were wanting to use it for. And that's how we want to separate ourselves from everyone else. So when we started this new tackle store, our big promise is to only have the best stuff, the stuff that we personally know that is working, the stuff that we know is great value. And we might irritate a few manufacturers that we're not even going to bring on board because we don't believe in their product for the value. Now, there will be some things that we might make mistakes on, right? There have been brands that have been really, really strong at one point. Like let's just take Gulp, for instance. We use Gulp heavily, and all of a sudden they went through like a bad kind of a funk, where they changed up their formula. And had we been like sponsored by them, we would have had to just like eat it up and like, yeah, I know they're not as good as they used to be, but I still got to promote them because they're paying us. And we went out there very publicly and said, guys, we promoted Gulp for a long time and never paid us a penny. We're not sponsored. Right now, they kind of stink. And now, finally, they've listened to people. They've listened to consumers. They've listened to anglers. And now they're making great products again. And we're recommending it again. And we're going to start having Gulp back in our store. And so that's what's really going to separate us, is you're going to see fewer SKUs and only have the best stuff that you truly do need. We're going to keep it so simple because, once again, ask any experienced angler, whether they're on the bass fishing side or saltwater, they're all going to say simplification is key. When you can, just like we know, specialists make more money than generalists, right? Specialists are in more demand than just a generalist. Anytime you can specialize on specific lures, specific brands, specific rods, reels, line, terminal tackle, etc., you will become a better angler. Your confidence will skyrocket. That's why everyone, you hear, hey, what's your confidence bait? That's what we want to do. We want to give you confidence, like complete rigs, complete outfits, where you go out there and catch more fish.
Because the truth of the matter, it took me way too long to figure this out. Yeah. I spent a lot of money before I figured it out. And the lesson that I learned over the years of being a total fishing lure and gear gadgetry overspender is that it is way more important to be an expert with, say, 3 lures, like an expert, where you can use it. You know how to adjust your retrieve based on what the fish are doing. If they're active, you change your retrieve to catch more quickly. If it's just one of those days where they're not feeding very well, you know how to just change, instead of changing lure and trying to find like the perfect magical color that just for that situation that never works out. It's just better just to use the same lure and change your retrieve. Retrieve style and tempo is by far the number one thing to think about. Number 2 is the actual size. Make sure it's the right size, and then the color stuff is not nearly as important. Just get a good color. Like it's what we like, Slam Shady. It's just a good color. It's a good all-around color. And then just have it. We know it works, and now we just focus on the retrieve style, the retrieve tempo, and just making sure that it's the right size. Just being an expert with a small amount of lures is way, way more important than being just, pretty good at a whole tackle store of stuff, because you're just going to just waste so much time just trying to second guessing yourself that you don't have the right lure, when in reality you just need to be second guessing yourself about the spot you're fishing or the depth coverage that you're in. So it's rare that it's just a lure. There's not ever going to be like a magical lure that is like, oh man, if I only had this lure, I'd be catching a ton of fish. In all the lure tests, I still have not had a single one where the one lure catches a bunch of fish and one lure catches nothing. right? So it's either, as long as you're in a good spot, you're going to be catching some fish. And that's really what the goal of our club's about. And then the store is a complement to it, where it's dedicated to inshore anglers who are targeting snook, redfish, sea trout, flounder. This store has everything you need to go out there and consistently catch slams every trip without the fluff, as Joe mentioned.
Yep. And really, we call it the Salt Strong trifecta. If you guys, for those of you in the Insider Club, you probably know this. There's 14,000 of you from Texas to kind of New Jersey. And obviously, we have 3 million people a year that come to saltstrong.com for education and information. And so a lot of you might not know what the Salt Strong trifecta is. And it's, number one, it starts with let's just say the tackle, what we're talking about here today, right? Oh, I got a visitor. It's little Action Jackson. What's up, buddy? You gotta listen to the podcast. I'm watching all 3 kids right now, and you know what to do with that? All right, I'll come show you just a little bit.
We need to add a door lock to the store so that Joe can finally get a good door lock.
Yeah, this whole COVID thing is really killing us. All right, Savannah, can you take little Jackson out and show him how to use that? Can you do that for me? Thank you, guys. And that's part number 2. So part number 1 is product, just like what Jackson brought in. And part number 2 is showing you how to use that product. So I think, one of the other big issues with the big box retailers is it's just a big store full of a lot of tackle. Half of it, let's just say, is kind of crap. And then let's just say the other half is good, but that still doesn't teach you how to use it. And so how cool would it be that every single time you went into a big box retailer that, let's just say you're up there in the jig head aisle with, the 500 different choices of jig head, that one, you now have a guide to show you, hey, let's narrow it down to these 2. And then after that, you even have a guide or even a video saying, you know what, here's where this one's going to be the best. Here's where this one's going to be the best. And it just literally simplifies it for you. So our whole goal is, one, is to get you Lucky Charms. What? It's about to be lunchtime. You're crazy.
I have Lucky Charms.
Does Savannah's have Lucky Charms? All right, well, I'll head down in just a little bit. Go ask her if she can help you, okay? All right, go get some Lucky Charms downstairs. So how cool would that be to have someone literally take you by the hand, like I'm having to do with my little kids here, and actually show you exactly what you need, and then show you how to use it. So that's right? We got the what, which is the tackle, then the how, which is how to use it, and then we take it a step further and show you where to go find the fish. That's really the trifecta. And then combine all of that with the community, having a network of 14,000 people, many in your backyard, that you can ask questions to. You can go to meetups. I saw there's a couple members in the Tampa area meeting up this weekend. Going to go take the kayaks out. There's one recently in the Carolinas where members are all just out there sharing tips, sharing tactics. That's why this thing has been so powerful, and that's what's going to be so different about our shop page versus any other tackle store out there. It is going to be incredibly helpful. We want to have videos. We're going to pull it up here in just a second and have videos on every single product on exactly why this is the best fit for you for that specific time. And just as importantly, hey, when this is not a good fit, right, Luke?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just pull up the store. And so the jig head aisle Joe mentioned, this is, we get a lot of questions about jig heads because we talk about a lot of soft plastics. We know, like, and trust soft plastics. Like a soft plastic paddle tail is my confidence lure that Joe mentioned before. You can use it everywhere. Any fish that feeds on smaller bait fish will eat it. You can use so many different retrieve patterns, and anybody of any skill level can use them correctly and get strikes. So you have to have jig heads for that. And so instead of having the jig head aisle be like 10 feet long with a million different colors, different shapes, different sizes, many of which don't even apply to saltwater anglers, we have the select few that have proven to work extremely well consistently with a variety of different products, a variety of different soft plastics. And so in each one of these, there's a video that explains the specific times you should be using this, and then also the times you should not be using it, as well as what weights you need, what you need to consider. Do you need to worry about the color of the eye, or do you not need to worry about the color of the eye? It goes through all those details just to make it as simple as possible for you, so that you just make smart, educated decisions.
And let's just take that jig head in particular. That jig head that you have, if you're listening, we're just talking about the Z-Man trout eye jig head that we love. We use it ourselves. You'll see it in many of our videos. What most retailers try to do is they try to go really wide. Let's just use that jig head, and they'll try to get all 6 colors, right? Because it's got 6 different colors just for this one Z-Man trout eye jig head. We want to have 2 or 3. Why? Because we know which ones work, right? And a lot of it's even based on science, on the color of the eye. We've done some podcasts on that. We want to keep it so simple because most retailers, they just try to go really big and wide and say, I hope someone comes in here and some knucklehead just wants to buy all 6 of them. We don't want you wasting money on all 6 colors. You don't need all 6 colors of that jig head. We want to say, you know what, for where you're fishing in Texas, sir, or in South Florida, you only need this color or these 2 colors max. That's it. So how awesome would that be, right? To have like a guide literally say, hey, we've used this. We've seen the science behind it. We've seen the results. You only need this specific color or maybe these 2 colors. You do not need all 5 of them. And that's how we're continually going to separate ourselves from the big box stores that just want to throw a ton of stuff out there and hope enough uneducated people come in there and just start buying a bunch of tackle that they don't need. Once again, we want you to buy a ton of tackle. We want you to buy so much tackle you don't even know where to store it, but we want you to buy the right stuff. We want you buying stuff that we know is going to work over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, but these jig heads in particular, I've tested out all the different colors of the eyes, and I still have seen zero proof that the actual color of their eye makes a noticeable difference. So in this store, we just literally just have the eyes more for us, not for the fish, because it really helps. I now just have one color of eye for every size. Every size jig head has a different color. The actual depth coverage that you're doing, that you're using with soft plastics, is 1,000 times more important than the little small color change on one little small part of the lure. So for just your overall ease of fishing with the least amount of confusion, there's yellow for 1/8 ounce, there is the pearl for 3/16 ounce, and then there's the glow for the 1/4 ounce. Simple as that. That way, as soon as you look in your tackle, in your little tackle tray, you just say, hey, okay, I need the pearl. That's automatically 3/16. And if you're fishing with somebody new, like you have a kid out, one of Joe's kids are on the boat, we can say, hey, Jackson, get the pearl one, right? Instead of saying, hey, get the 3/16 ounce one, then he has to sit there and like look at them to analyze which one's 3/16. Hey, just get the pearl one. So again, everything's all about just making it as easy and efficient for you to go out there and catch slams every trip.
But those 3 colors, to kind of just read you a little bit, I mean, those 3 colors from the owner of Eye Strike, who is an optics engineer. He's got like a doctorate in optics. I mean, he has said that those 3 colors are outfishing the other 3 colors across the country. And to Luke's point, it might not be a massive difference. You're not going to catch 10 times more fish, but just even that subtle difference. For instance, we talked about on a podcast earlier about the underwater color shift. We talked about how redfish and trout in particular, those 2 species can't see red. They're almost colorblind to it. And so you'd be better off with the chartreuse or like more of a glow or a pearl eye. So there is a little bit of science behind that as well. You guys want to see how helpful I am? I'm sitting here pouring Lucky Charms for my son. I don't know if I'm a good dad or not, but I'm doing the best I can during the middle of a podcast. Not getting flustered at all. I'm going to pour a perfect little bowl here of Lucky Charms. You love Lucky Charms?
Yeah.
Oh, Jackson loves Lucky Charms.
Yeah, and as we're going to obviously continue to grow this. So we're doing a lot of line tests so far. Pa-POW has been outperforming the others. So right now, just Pa-POW is on there because we don't have a reason to recommend anything else. But I'm testing out a bunch of different lines, and then as we get some that can compete or beat Pa-POW, we're going to add it. So again, we're not just adding lines just to do it. It's all about, okay, we've done a lot of tests so far. So far, the Pa-POW Original is surprisingly good. And that's what's going to be featured. And then as soon as that changes, you're going to see some more lines on there. So just so you know, oh my gosh, they only have 1 line. Are they sponsored by them? No, we're not sponsored by them. This is just so far, and we film and document all the tests, and so you can see the support for it. Where so far, this has been the best. It'll likely change at some point, but so far it's held true. And that goes the same thing with reels, rods, so on and so forth. The whole thing is, again, all about making sure that you're making just smart, educated decisions on your tackle without overspending, without buying stuff that's not totally proven.
And hold on there, Luke. I'm going to get rid of two little kids here that are now. So apparently the locks do work, and Jackson has now locked Savannah out, and Savannah's trying to get in. So I am going to mute myself real quick. Savannah, you want to wave to everybody? Yeah! What a fun podcast this has been. All right, I'm going to mute myself real quick, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered a lot of it. Again, it's just really about simplification. Just make sure that you have what you need without worrying about overspending, without second guessing yourself. And each of these individual products will show you videos on how to rig them. It'll, again, as I mentioned before, it'll show you when to use them, just as importantly, if not more importantly, when not to use them. And just to make sure that you're just maximizing your time in the water. We know that our time in the water is extremely valuable. As we get more and more responsibilities, it's not like back in high school where you can just go out there and fish all day long anytime you wanted. It's really about just, okay, we have a few hours here, a couple hours here to go fishing. Let's make sure that we make the best of it. And so that's our goal, is to make sure that your time fishing, whether you're by yourself or have some family, friends, loved ones, your kids, just that it goes as smoothly and efficiently as possible, so you can just make some great memories that matter.
Yep. And there's going to be a lot of retailers and tackle stores that do not like us. The first reason is an obvious one. We're giving 20% off to our insider members. So we're going to be able to beat anyone on price for the same, pin reels and Daiwa reels and all the stuff that you see here on our shop page. That's number one. And number two is, we're not a tackle store. We're an insider club. We're a membership. We're a club. We're a family, right? I mean, that is our business model. Whereas a tackle store, they rely on you coming in there and spending a lot of money on stuff that you might not really need. And we're the opposite. We want to give you just exactly what you need, teach you how to use it, put you on the fish, and then bring you into our family, bring you into our community. That is what's going to separate us from everyone else. And I know we're already starting to see it a little bit, that there's some retailers that I believe are a little bit scared about this model, just for those obvious reasons. That one, we're being very helpful. We're being education first and leading first with education on what you need and what you don't need. And two, we're obviously giving an amazing deal. And, if you're an insider member, I know a few of you have already spent well over $1,000 on stuff that you need. You save 20% on that. I mean, we're talking a couple $100 you saved, and that's at a minimum. We have certain items that you can even get, over 20% off of. So really, really proud on that. One other thing I want to address, hopefully I can share my screen here, Luke. If you can cancel. You say hi to Luke?
Yeah, and so just those who don't know, the Insider Club, it's only $97 a year. So as soon as you hit the $500 mark on tackle, which is just like a couple rods and maybe a couple reels, you're going to more than pay for your membership. So a lot of people do more than pay for their membership just from tackle, and obviously they are getting all the big benefits of our weekly game plans to make sure that you're in the right spots every single week when you go fishing based on the most recent feeding trends and the upcoming weather. We break it all down for you again so that you can maximize your time on the water.
Yep. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen, Luke?
Sure do.
So this is actually from my buddy Captain Mike Goodwine, and we're seeing lots of pictures like this. And I want to address this because a few people that maybe haven't been out in stores because of COVID don't realize that this is a tackle store in Tampa. And you can see, half of their SKUs are completely gone. You see, Vanna, look, they're all empty there. You see that? Like, everything looks like it's sold out. Look at that one with all the weights and some of the mustad hooks. Almost completely gone. Tony recently went into the Bass Pro in Orlando to see what they look like. And normally you have that entire wall of rods. And he's like, it was like they were all gone. It was almost like there was 3 random rods sticking up. It was just like empty house. Jackson said, who took them? That's a great question. So who took them is all of us fishermen. Because of COVID, the one thing they can't take away from us is fishing and boating. And so fishing licenses have been an all-time high. Fishing tackle sales have been an all-time high. The bad news is a lot of these little small parts, like let's just take hooks, for instance, are coming from Japan, from China, from South America. And because of COVID shut many of these plants down for, in some cases, months, the entire industry went through basically a perfect storm of selling more tackle than the history, probably the history of America. There's been more tackles sold in the last couple of months, and now we have fewer inventory. I mean, we have so many SKUs that, like Shimano, for instance, is literally sold out at the manufacturing level, meaning all these groups, every tackle store in America could not buy many of Shimano's like spinning reels, for instance. Like, I mean, talking done, completely out. So this is something that's impacting everyone. Good news is, I think worldwide COVID, seems to be going down. It's getting better. It's not done by any stretch of the imagination, but it's getting better. So many of these plants are operating again and opening them up. So we are seeing tackle. We put some really big orders in. You're going to start seeing, everything. We have a lot of Daiwa in right now. We've got a lot of the pin reels and rods and stuff coming in as well. Same with Shimano. So you're going to start seeing some of the bigger brands that a lot of you have asked about. We just want to address it, are coming in. But no, this is something that's impacting everyone. It's not just us. It's not just your tackle store down the street. It's nationwide. You guys impressed with how well.
And again, for all of them, we're only getting the ones that have really proven to be standouts in their respective lineup, in their respective purpose, and we'll again educate you on when you need it and when you don't, and just to make sure that you're matching the equipment that you have for the type of fishing that you're doing. Super, super important.
Yep. And then finally, if you guys can see this, I'm holding up an empty bag of the Z-Man Minnow Z Slam Shady. Empty because I am personally out as well. I know so many of you have been asking about it. We put that order in with Z-Man in February. Talk about bad timing. We put a massive order to get all of the main items we were doing with Slam Shady. And so the bad news is COVID hit after that, and it went on hold, and they got so far behind it wasn't even funny. They had to shut down their entire plants, et cetera. And, every time someone gets a case of COVID, they have to shut down stuff and clean everything. So it just slowed down everything. The good news is, which is why I bring it up, is Z-Man even made a post on their social media. Slam Shady is coming back strong with them. We obviously own the rights to Slam Shady, and we are doing a licensing deal with them, and we are going to have Slam Shady back in store soon. They're going to be printing these off very, very soon. It still might be way after Labor Day for all I know, with just how things keep happening, but know that it is happening. It is in the process. And the better news is we're going to have a couple of new molds as well. So we had the 3-inch Minnow Z, we had the 4-inch Diesel Minnow Z, and the 5-inch Cinnamon Paddle Z, which we still have some of that in stock right now. We're going to be adding a couple more Z-Man molds in Slam Shady as well, and that's going to be awesome. And that will be only found in our store. At some point, you're going to be able to buy them other places. We are working with Z-Man on some licensing stuff to be able to get that out there. If you are in a pinch and don't have time, even though we're shipping stuff out like next day, by the way, too. Like, we're trying to be as close as we can to an Amazon. We want to have an amazing customer experience, and we've got our girl Carol. I mean, she is on it. So if you put an order in right now, if you go to our shop page and put an order in today, it's most likely going out tomorrow morning, if not sometimes even same day. But, just know that we're trying to get everything out that next day, where it's in the post office's hands, first class or priority, depending on what you're buying, and boom, it's going to be in your hands pronto, so you can start using it and putting it to work. But know that we've got that coming in. Luke and I are dying to have some more as well. Of course, we have the Slam Shady 2.0 in stock right now. We did get some new baits on the Slam Shady 2.0. And guys, gals, if you got a fish that bites off the tail, keep using it. It's called the 2.0 for a reason. It's a 2-in-1. I don't know if you saw that report in the insider community recently, Luke, where I think one of our members had an aha moment, like, I just caught my personal best redfish on the Slam Shady 2.0 without the tail. They had something bite it off. Like, I'm just going to keep using it, and ended up catching their personal best redfish. So it works like magic, like money, even without that tail. So make sure to keep using it and get twice as much of hopefully fish catching from each bait. Other than that, just know that we are working hard to make sure that we keep our shop incredibly unique, that it is going to be super helpful, the most helpful and education first tackle store, hopefully in America, is our goal. And that because, we're a membership, we're a fishing club first and foremost, we don't have to really make money on the tackle. That's the reason we're able to give, all of our members 20% off. We really want to be education first and family first and community first. And then second, provide the very, very best tackle to you guys. And know that we'll probably always have a little bit different looking shop page. We're never going to have just every brand out there just to have it. Because once again, we just want to give you the best. We want to give you the stuff that you're going to be able to look back on 2, 3, 5 years from now and say, man, I'm glad I bought this. This is still working for me. That this has been an incredible value. Not, oh man, I bought something that looked really shiny just because it had bright colors on it, like a lot of the retailers are doing. So we're only going to have the best. We're going to be leading with the best and then leading with education. And once again, very, very soon, if not already today, when you guys see this, you'll be able to go on our shop page, and every single item is our goal. You're going to have a video on there that's actually going to walk you through how to rig that item if it's a soft plastic, et cetera, or how to use this to the absolute best of the ability to maximize every dollar you spend on that. And I think you're absolutely going to love it. It will be like having a full-time captain sitting over your shoulder saying, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, boom, hit play. And it's actually going to tell you everything you want to know about it, when to use it, when not to use it, what's going to be the best use for it, et cetera. So anything else, Luke?
Yeah, so for those who just don't know, so we made some big changes recently. It used to be on shop.saltstrong.com, and we moved it over to fishstrong.com. So it's much easier to find. Just type in fishstrong.com, and it's there. And again, all members get 20% off. So if you're not a member, first go to saltstrong.com. That's our main website. You can join there. Then you'll automatically, once you're a member, you'll automatically have 20% off the entire store, at least 20% off the entire store. And again, everything on the store, before it gets there, we ask ourselves, this is our vetting process to actually adding something on there, is will this help one of our members catch more fish in a specific situation compared to everything else? If the answer is no, it doesn't get on there. So just know, and then obviously on those pages, you'll see exactly what situation you will need this. And if you're not fishing in situations, then don't buy it. It's really all about making sure that you don't end up doing what I did and buy everything I saw that looked somewhat decent, and now I end up with like a whole second room full of just stuff I never even used, just collecting dust. So
I want you guys to make sure you heard that. We ask every time we're about to make a purchase, our number one filter is this going to help our insider member, our customer, catch more fish? Okay. Whereas every other retailer is asking, can we get some sucker to buy this? That's what they look at. Can we sell this? Can we push this fast? And we're doing just the opposite. We look at it as, all right, is this going to help our best customers, our insiders, and even just our general audience? Is this going to help them catch more fish? And we know if the answer is yes, that it will sell. So just know that ours is going to be completely different. And we love your feedback. If you guys are finding things like, we've got a couple new products that we're testing out that came from our insider members that don't have the big marketing arms that some of these big brands have, but do work. And we're surprised by some of these things. You'll even see some items that might not be top sellers in some of the retail stores because they don't have the marketing arms and all the salespeople, but they're really great products. So know that we're always testing stuff like that out. So if you have, maybe it's a product that's not really well known, maybe even a local product, we would love to entertain that. We love testing stuff out. We're out in the water every single week, putting stuff to the test, testing new lures, testing new rods, reels, line, etc. So let us know. Support at saltstrong.com is the best way to kind of comes to all of us. And we would love to hear from you. Any other ideas or other products that you want. And just know that some of the stuff is not on there purposely right now just because it's out at the manufacturing level. But know that we are getting a lot of stuff coming in here over the next few months. So that is it on my end. I'm going to go make sure my kids are not eating Lucky Charms for lunch, and maybe have something healthy like, I don't know, what do you think, peanut butter and jelly, Luke? It's a healthy.
Can't go wrong with PBJs.
Yeah, so even adults, I mean, it's just that gift that keeps on giving all through life, PB&J.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Any questions, all just reach out to us. Love to hear from you. And as I said before, we're going to be constantly testing out new stuff, and we're always looking for new ideas to just test out new lures. And for those who aren't watching, it's pretty funny because every like 10 minutes, some new a new young child is walking into in the background of Joe. At one point, Savannah, his second child, had a whole armful of her, like, it looks like her favorite teddy bear she wanted to show off. So it's been quite a treat to see all the surprises coming in.
Hey, family first. Always family first. And then finally, too, speaking of family, join our family. If you haven't joined the Insider Club, what are you waiting on? It still shocks me that some people, they'll send us messages and they're literally like everything they're asking for is like inside the Insider Club. One, we're going to help you save money on your tackle so you can justify it logically to say, all right, I know I'm probably going to spend $1,000 this year on a tackle. So right there, you've already saved $200. Ours is only 27 cents a day. 27 cents a day. I know most of you listen to this drink coffee. You can't even if you're brewing coffee at home, do the math, it comes down to way over 27 cents. I brew my coffee at home and it's like 55, 60 cents a cup when you really do the math of what it all costs for the machine and all that. So it's cheaper than a cup of coffee every day, and it comes with a 100% money back guarantee for an entire year, and you're going to save money on your tackle. You're ultimately going to save money on every fishing trip, right? Which is our goal, is we get you the right stuff and then make sure you are fishing at the right place at the right time. We talk about that 90-10. If you guys have watched that webinar, if you haven't, definitely watch it. It's all about putting you in the feeding zone. That 90% of all the feeding fish are in just 10% of any area at any given time. And every Friday, Luke's about to, I believe, go on here shortly and start looking through all the community and film exactly where you should be fishing this coming weekend. We do it every single week using online satellite maps based on all the intel that we're gathering from our community. There's new fishing reports going up every 10 minutes, and taking all that intel and putting it into one 10-minute video saying, here's exactly where you want to fish based on real trends. And then finally, the network, that community. I mean, it really is, it's a family. It's a family to us. It's a family to the members. It's there's no cursing allowed. There's no negativity. It's all just uplifting people. You can ask any question you want, regardless if you're brand new or if you're a weekend warrior like most of our members, even full-time guides are joining. One, they love the discounts, and two, they love having the network. So we'd love to have you in there. You can go learn more about that at saltstrong.com. And for the shop page, as Luke mentioned, fishstrong.com. We still have that shop page. It just forwards over to the shop.saltstrong.com. At fishstrong.com, we want to make it super simple for you. So fishstrong.com for tackle, saltstrong.com to join the Insider Club and to see all of our tips and all the new things that we're doing and all the craziness going on with family and dogs pooping out slam shadies and all that great stuff that makes us just real people trying to do some awesome stuff and awesome work in this world and make a big impact through fishing. So we can't appreciate you guys enough if you made it this far. We love you. Thank you guys so much for all the support. And if we can help you out or better serve you in any way, let us know. We would love to hear from you at support@saltstrong.com. Will come to both myself and Lukey.
Good stuff. Yeah, appreciate your time.
That's it, guys. Have a great one. We out. Peace.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul.